What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Behind the Edge. This is episode 10. We finally made it to double digits. My name's Brent, aka Backpack B. If you're new here and you like knives, you're a knife addict, consider subscribing to the channel. It's new and up and coming. Love to have you here for the ride. It would be great to see you here every week. Today, we'll be diving into a very unique knife from Nitch Designs called the Ingress. Very excited to talk about it. So without further ado, this is Behind the Edge. Let's get after it. Look at this knife. The Ingress is a purpose-driven design that focuses on function while boasting a super unique design aesthetic. The first thing that came to mind when I saw this piece was, whoa, that's different. In fact, my initial impression of this knife when I saw it online was kind of on the fence. But that all changed when I got it in hand for the first time. I was blown away by how much I like this knife. It's an unapologetically bold piece that takes risks in many areas of the design, all in an effort to create a purpose-driven tool. Let's break it down. Nitch Designs was founded in 2019 with the purpose of creating unique purpose-driven knives. The man behind Nitch Designs is Nick Rogers, a lifetime knife enthusiast turned knife designer. Nick is currently launching his first Nitch Designs knife, the Ingress, on Kickstarter. You can check out links to the campaign in the video description. When I started researching the Ingress, one thing that stood out to me was how meticulous Nick has been throughout developing this knife. If you check out the Nitch Designs website and his Kickstarter page, you will find an extreme wealth of knowledge that serves as a complete guide to the development of the Ingress, as well as in-depth explorations of the design choices behind the Ingress. Weighing in at 4.44 ounces, the Ingress has a handle length of 4.57 inches, a handle height of 1.82 inches, and a handle thickness of 0.48 inches. It has a blade length of 3.25 inches, it has a grind height of 1.33 inches, and a blade thickness of 0.125 inches, giving the Ingress an overall length of 7.82 inches. It features an extremely slicey flat ground Wharncliffe blade, CPM 20 CV steel, thumb hole deployment, a titanium handle and backspacer, a titanium pocket clip, an integral frame lock, and a caged ceramic ball bearing pivot system. And last but not least, Nitch Designs is partnering with We Knives as its OEM, which is great. We Knives is synonymous with quality, so great choice on Nick's part. Okay, let's take a closer look. So here you have the closed show side of the knife, and my eye is immediately drawn to the milling on the handle. It has an interesting pattern that helps with grip and adds to the weight reduction of the overall knife. Here you can also see the weight reduction cutouts on the tang of the blade, which I think is a super original design element. On the opposite corner, you can see the lanyard hole that is integrated into the titanium backspacer. I really like the positioning design of the thumb hole. And lastly, here you can see the pivot hardware to the right of the handle. Moving on to the spine of the handle, you can see it's a pretty thin knife, which I like a lot. Here you can see the titanium backspacer that also houses the lanyard hole. The rest of the handle spine is open due to the small backspacer, which I like because it cuts down on weight. Moving on to the lock side of the handle, you can see the titanium clip, which has really grown on me since I've carried the blade. It's wide but has a very low profile, so it slides into the pocket with ease. Moving on, you can see an echo of the handle milling on this side of the handle, which I love. It helps with the grip a lot, especially when opening and closing. And here you can see the steel lock bar insert. Alright, let's check out the centering, and that blade is a strike right down the middle. Okay, here's the moment of truth, the thwack test, and whoa, that action is incredible. The blade flies to the open position with confidence and locks firm. Now here's the show side of the knife open. I love the space for the thumb that the blade and the handle form. It really takes away from the need for any jimping, and your thumb feels at home there. It creates a ton of leverage during cutting tasks. Okay, let's test out that action one more time. And wow, it's one of the standout parts of this knife. It's super fidget friendly. I really grew to love the silhouette of this knife. I almost get like Cybertruck vibes from the blade, which is awesome. The ergonomics of the handle are great. It's an extremely comfortable cutting tool. Now it's time for some size comparisons. Since this is such a unique piece, I chose a variety of knives that are all different so you can see how they measure up. Starting with the Spyderco smock, and right off the bat, you can see how tall the Ingress is. Although the smock is similar in length, the blade of the Ingress is so much larger. It's a lot taller. Next up is the CJRB Centros designed by Dylan Mallory. Although there's a huge difference in overall design, these both have a sporty feel to them with a fast, modern aesthetic. Next up is the Tucson TS231 designed by Vincent Oliver. I love the implementation of thumb holes on both of these knives. They have very similar actions even though they are totally different pieces. Now on to the control knife. This is the Spyderco Para 3, decked out by blades we love on eBay. Both of these pieces have high flat grinds, but this really illustrates the size of the flat grind on the Ingress. The flat grind mixed with the thin blade stock on the Ingress makes it super slicey. Okay, on to the next one. This is the Concept Mini Cairo. Although they're totally different sizes, both of these knives decided to omit the flipper tab and opt for only a thumb hole deployment, which I think is great on both of them. They deploy so well using the thumb holes, there's no need for the flipper tab. Finally, onto the Kaiser Maestro, which aesthetically is the knife in my collection that lines up closest to the Ingress. They both have thumb holes and an aggressive, futuristic design. Their handles both have internal and external milling, and they're both quality pieces. Okay, that's it. We've made it to the pros, cons, and conclusions. Starting out with pros as usual, I'm going to try to keep it as concise as possible. The first pro is that you're getting amazing materials and fit and finish with this piece. The CPM 20 CV blade steel is top notch. It's classified as ultra premium by Knife Informer, and it's known for holding an amazing edge. The fit and finish of this piece are going to be top notch thanks to OEM We Knives, which is synonymous with quality, as I've said before. They've become a staple of the knife community and are known for putting out high quality pieces. The next pro is design. If you check the Nitch website, you will find out the amount of thought that was put into this design. It's evident that every detail was thought through on this piece, especially when you get it in hand and use it. The design choices translate extremely well to the functionality of the Ingress. It's a slicing machine. Literally, this knife has ruined cardboard's whole career. Boxes don't stand a chance. Okay, the next major pro is the ergonomics of the titanium handle. I love how this knife feels in hand. The chamfering of the edges and the milling patterns mixed with the handle design that is accounted for the exact placement of your fingers really comes together to create a handle that is very comfortable. I like how the handle is elevated above the blade. It really makes it easier to cut things without your fingers getting in the way. And finally, the weight reduction on the titanium handles is top notch. There's an insane amount of weight reduction going on. I couldn't believe how light the knife felt when I first picked it up because it really looks heavier than it is. The next pro is the grind on the blade. This high flat grind is one of my favorite parts of the knife, and mixed with its thin blade stock, it was designed to be a tool that slices through cardboard with ease, and it does that better than any knife I own. I also love the weight reduction on the blade. Not only does it help lighten the knife, it also adds a very original design element to the overall piece. And the final pro is price. The price point that they are aiming for this knife is under $200, which in my opinion is amazing. You can't beat that price, especially when you think about the quality of materials that are used on the Ingress. I really fell for this knife after I handled it for a week or so, but there are a couple of tiny cons that I came up with. And the first con is the detent. I think the detent is a tad weak for a blade of this size. Although it makes it super easy to deploy, I was able to deploy the blade by just flicking my wrist, not even using the thumb hole. Some people like that, but I personally would like just a little stronger detent. And the next con is just like a general statement that this piece is not the best option for EDC. It's a purpose-driven tool, so if you're looking for an all-around knife that excels in most tasks, I don't think this one is for you. But the Ingress wasn't designed to be an all-around performer, or an EDC option anyway. It was designed for a purpose. And the last con is a small detail, but it bothers me a little bit, and that's the pivot positioning. I think the pivot placement is super functional. The blade rockets out and the action is amazing, so it's obviously working. But visually, I sometimes feel that the pivot positioning feels off-centered. From a visual standpoint, I'd like to see it more centered on the handles. I've said that about knives before, so I think this is a personal peeve, but yeah, that's it for cons, nothing too bad at all. Finally, on to my conclusions. The Ingress is a very unique piece. I do think that some people will be taken back by the extreme nature of the design before they even give it a chance. But once I got this bad boy in hand and carried it for a week or so, I really was blown away by how good of a knife it is. While this piece might not speak to someone who wants an all-around EDC option, for someone who wants to add an awesome function-driven design to their collection, the pros greatly outweigh the cons of this piece. You're getting quality design, quality materials, and amazing functionality in a piece that is right under $200. If you guys want to check out the Ingress, I put links in the video description. Go check out Nitch Designs site and the Kickstarter campaign. And while you're at it, go give Nick a follow on Instagram. Wow, we made it through another one. Thanks for joining me for episode 10. If you ever have a knife that you'd like to see me cover in a Behind the Edge, let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to cover something you guys want to see, so that'd be cool. Thanks for hanging out. See you next time. It's your boy Backbag B, and I'm out. Deuces.